This is Keith Sietstra, and this is my first reading through a theological lens assignment. To unpack this one, I want to talk about Dr. Pimple Popper. So it's a show on TLC where people from around the country, really even around the world, who have some skin abnormalities, maybe a cyst or a scar or just maybe some type of even skin disease that's really having an impact on these people's lives. And so they will go and seek out Dr. Lee is her name, and she will do everything she can to remove that blemish or abnormality from them. And in the midst of that happening in this show is kind of tying the story of who these people were before this surgery takes place, and just the happiness and new life that they've found after this surgery takes place. And so my mind just instantly went to a lot of things that we talked about in week 2 with Jamie Smith and his what does it mean to live in a secular age, and really just even with, I think it was Willie Jennings who offered the image of God talk. And so just weighing who we believe we are as Christians to what this show is really trying to convey. So they're talking about the core problem being that, man, if there is something wrong with you on the outside, if you can just fix that, you'll feel so much better. Life will find the meaning that you want. It wants to tell us that we can find our own solutions to just the emotional, psychological, and I think really even some deeply spiritual things that we are feeling, especially for the people who are on this show who are saying, my life was just a wreck. I couldn't go out in public. I was so ashamed. I felt like I just didn't have meaning or purpose. I couldn't enter into relationships, all because of these abnormalities to their skin. And their story at the end is, hey, once I found this solution, like this was the way to find happiness in life. This was the way to recapture my meaning. And I just think that falls so much into the secular story that the world is trying to tell us, that we don't need somebody, we don't need a savior, we don't even have to see any fault in ourselves, because we can kind of pick ourselves up by our bootstrap and find a way to fix it. And I just think it's the media, just continuing to pour into this narrative that, be your own self, make your own self, put yourself above all else, make sure that you are happy, and find your definition of happiness. And once you've done that, then life is good, and you can live out exactly who you're called to be. And I think of Jamie Smith's article about just understanding living in a secular age, and he talked a lot about building gardens in the cracks. And so how do we then as Christians really begin to speak into what even this show in a small nutshell is portraying to the world? That that what they are acknowledging is that there are hardships and there are things that really weigh on us emotionally, especially in this world. But they're saying, we find our answers in just removing something from the outside will fix the inside. And our message as Christians is really flip-flop from that, right? But when we change things on the inside, it's our outside then that begins to gain a new appearance by how we speak, by how we act, by how we love. And so how do we begin to enter into conversations and engage with others in this artifact? I think it's just that. I think it allows us to begin to share conversations that, no pun intended, are more than just skin level, right? They go deep into who we are as people, and yeah, of course we don't want to downplay the things that people are feeling and experiencing. And I'm not against Dr. Pimple Popper removing those things. Sometimes there's health issues related to them for sure. But the story that we are trying to say is, hey, changing something on the outside doesn't all of a sudden give you meaning and purpose in life. It's understanding who we are and letting God work on us from the inside out. And so I think that's how my faith reads these problems that the Dr. Pimple Popper show is bringing up. And I hope and think that there are lots of opportunities to meet people right where they're at and to have some conversations with them in the midst of this secularized, very outside-looking, driven culture that we do live in. So, fun assignment. I never thought I'd see Dr. Pimple Popper in that light, but definitely some truth to it. Thanks.